What is up, fight fans? This is Good Guy Rick coming through with my picks for UFC Fight Night Smith vs. Teixeira. Feeling good after going 10 of 11 with my picks on UFC 249. Man, was that a great card and a well-needed distraction for all of us, I imagine. Francis Ngannou with the one-punch knockout and Thug Nasty Bryce Mitchell with the Big Brother beatdown are my two standouts of the evening. Along with Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje and Nico Price versus Vicente Luque. Violent night. Wednesday's card is not heavy with the name value, though it features a few dynamic prospects and fighters looking to make a run back into title contention. Now let's start with these prelims. First, we got Omar Morales against Gabriel Benitez. Gabriel Benitez is stepping in for Bobby Green, which I really wish we got to see Bobby Green fight, one of my personal favorites. That being said, I do think Omar Morales is the real deal coming off Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series. I see him getting probably a decision win over Gabriel Benitez here. Next, we got Chase Sherman back in the UFC after getting cut and having to run around the regional scene for a little bit. He takes on another guy making his UFC debut here, Ike Villanueva. A little nervous about this one because Villanueva traditionally fights at light heavyweight. I've never seen him fight. Chase Sherman is a heavyweight, not the biggest heavyweight, though big enough that he might have the speed disadvantage here. I think Villanueva will be dangerous early, though I see Chase Sherman not wanting to make a bad first impression back in the UFC, getting a late stoppage win. Next, we're on to another prospect as Hunter Azure comes in against Brian Kelleher. I do like Brian Boom Kelleher, really fun social media guy and also exciting fighter, though Hunter Azure seems like he is going to be a force to be reckoned with at bantamweight. So I'm looking for him to pick up a decision, which Brian Kelleher will have moments, maybe threaten with submissions. Hope he gets it actually, but I do think Hunter, unfortunately, is going to win here for Brian, that is. Next, we're into the women's bantamweight division as Sijara Eubanks takes on Sarah Morais. Sijara Eubanks was on a tough 25, I think. Was supposed to fight for the inaugural women's 125 belt, flyweight, though missed weight there and continued to miss weight while trying to hit the 125 mark and now up to 135, where she takes on Sarah Morais. And they've both had mixed results, couple wins here and there, couple losses. I think they're both about 2-2, 3-3 for Sarah Morais in the UFC. So this is a must-win for both of them. Looking for Sijara Eubanks to get the win and get back to title contention here in the bantamweight division now. Then we're on to Michael Johnson and Thiago Moses in the still the second to last prelim. Michael Johnson is coming off 2 losses, though I do think his last fight was very close against Stevie Ray. I do remember that majority decision back at 155 after going down to 145 for 2-2 split there over 4 fights. I do think he'll get the win here. Rooting for Michael Johnson. He was on, I think, Tough 11. That was the GSP coach season against Josh Koscheck. And he's a very quick fighter with some real power. And now that he's back at 155, I do think he'll knock off Thiago Moses, who's another Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, who I think is biting off a little bit more than he can chew here. Former UFC heavyweight champion Andrei Arlovski is next up against Felipe Lins, who is coming off the $1 million grand prize for winning the PFL heavyweight championship in the year 2019. They do a season format. And I see Felipe Lins continuing that knockout streak and finishing Andrei Arlovski here. Hope Arlovski's able to compete with him and maybe win a decision on the scorecards, but a little too much power coming from Felipe. We have Carl Robeson kicking off the main card against Marvin Vettori. These are two really good prospects at 185, which is in need of some prospects. So I don't really like that this matchup was made. I'm a big fan of Carl Roberson, former Glory kickboxer, but I think Marvin Vettori, who gave Israel Adesanya his hardest fight in the UFC to date, gets it done here. Now we're up to 135, where it's the tale of two different tapes, as Ray Borg is 2-0 and Ricky Simon is 0-2 coming in. Ray Borg did fight Demetrius Johnson once for the 125-pound championship. This is a pretty even matchup. It's a coin toss for me. I'll take Ricky Simon. You know what? He gets it done against Ray Borg. Now we're up to Drew Dober versus Alexander Hernandez at 155. Alexander Hernandez used to talk about how many hours he was working at his mortgage job. Kind of reminds me of my cousin who works at Quicken Loans. Quick shout out to him. Is going up against Drew Dober here, and two great prospects at 155. A lot of firepower, skilled everywhere. Drew Dober gets it done in a hard-fought 3-round decision. Now we're on to the co-main event, where we got OSP, Oven St. Preux, the former Tennessee Volunteer football player, against Ben Rothwell. Ben Rothwell could just never put it together at heavyweight, it seems. It'll always get an impressive win, maybe a couple in a row, and then drop another few. Whereas OSP, pretty much the same, only at 205, but he's now stepping up to heavyweight for the first time in his career. I'm going to pick the upset here. I'm going to pick OSP. You know what? Actually, Ben, he might be the favorite. Anyways, I'm taking OSP here. I think it'll be close, though. I like him, at that weight without the weight cut. I think his cardio should last 3 rounds, and I see him tagging Ben Rothwell through a 3-round decision. Now we're up to the main event here. Big Anthony Smith fan, so take my opinion with a grain of salt, as I am biased as they come when it's picking his fights. Though, I do see him getting the win. I don't see him finishing Glover. Glover is as tough as they come. I think he's only really been stopped by Anthony Rumble Johnson. Gustafson got him too. That's right, with the uppercut. Though, it's going to be a close one. It's going to go all 5. Glover will have his moments. Anthony Smith stays at the top of the 205 division. Gets a good win over Glover here. Thanks for listening to my picks, and don't forget to check out the fights live tomorrow, Wednesday, May 13th at 6 p.m. on ESPN+. Let me know who you got in the comments, and follow me on Twitter at GoodGuyRick. New handle alert. Really rooting for Anthony Lionheart Smith here this weekend. Let's hope he gets it done. This is Good Guy Rick saying, stay safe and enjoy the face punching. Peace.